So let's get into it. Today, I want to really talk about the power of structure and routine because so many people have lost their structure and routine at the moment. And it's a big reason why people are struggling, I think, is that their whole rhythm is changed. And so the people that have adapted quickly and have sort of jigged their structure and routine are the ones that are probably doing a little bit better than others. If you feel like you're floundering around at the moment and just completely unmotivated, that's totally normal, that's fine. I think you should be kind to yourself, but I've got some strategies for you today that hopefully you can take something from to help you progress and keep life happening as relatively normal as possible. So I don't believe that what we talk through today, you should write notes and do everything that I talk about. Just pick one thing and try and practice it for a couple of weeks and implement it. And then once it's become habitual and you're good at it, then you can sort of layer in the next thing. So yeah, it's kind of called layering. It's rather than trying to achieve everything at once and setting yourself up to fail, you just need to kind of do a bit of a layered approach and put one strategy in place, practice it, get good at it, make it habitual, and then put another strategy in place. Take one thing from today that you think is going to be the most useful and the most beneficial to you and that you could implement straight away as well. And then, yeah, just do that, practice it for a few weeks, and then add the next one when you've got that one nailed. So I think, yeah, having some sort of structure and routine at the moment is really vital, because we're all kind of spinning out in no man's land in a sense. A lot of people have lost their jobs, or their jobs are kind of completely shifted. So I've got a few sort of personal training clients and they're suddenly without work. So some people have pivoted and gone to online programs and things like that. So they're still kind of busy and have some sort of structure. And then other people have just not done that at all, which is fine as well. And so they're kind of on extended holidays, really. But then have the stress of no income. So it's just this big vicious circle. So I think even more so if you've had sort of big changes, then it's important to try and add some more structure to your life if all of your structure is suddenly gone. All right. So one of the key things that I find really helpful, and some of you might find helpful as well, is to actually write out a weekly plan. So I don't know, a lot of you probably don't know that I've actually worked from home, not full-time working from home. I do go to the clinic and other sporting groups and things, but for the last 5 or 6 years, I have had multiple days in a week that are working from home. And so one of the biggest things that has helped me get some structure and rhythm to the week is having a weekly plan. So I would encourage you now to write out a weekly plan, and it could all involve being at home, but it doesn't matter, because you've got a plan for the week based around everything that you want to achieve. And it doesn't have to be perfect straight away. Good morning, Art, registered foodie, welcome. Did you make savoury muffins yesterday, Art? What was I saying? Weekly plan, yes. So think about the things that you want to achieve in the week. It could be work related, it could be personal related, and actually map out the plan. So at the moment, you might completely have no sort of structure to what your days look like. You might have a few meetings that drop in. You might, good morning, Catherine. You might have, certain things with kids that you've got to get done at certain times, or it could just be a completely blank canvas. And so when we're left to our own devices and have a completely blank canvas, that's when we struggle the most. So I would encourage you to write out a weekly plan, and I want you to put things in there like what time you're going to wake up and what time you're going to go to bed, what time you're going to clock on and off for work in the day, when you're going to exercise, when you're going to do your grocery shopping, when you're going to do your meal planning. All those sorts of things should go in there so you've still got that structure and rhythm to your week. Catherine said this is a planned study break. Good work, Catherine. Yes. I'm sure you've got it on your whiteboard. Good morning. Good morning, I love hemp. All right. So yeah, number one tip is to actually write out a bit of a weekly plan for what your week looks like. And if you've got a partner or family or other half, then definitely include them in that discussion. Then there's not going to be sort of arguments on the day for who's got to look after the kids or who's cooking dinner or who's cleaning the house this week or whatever it is. Like, you've had that open discussion so that there's no ambiguity around it and everyone's on the same wavelength. And yeah, there's no arguments on the day. Like, you're meant to cook dinner tonight. Why are you still working? That sort of thing. Like, just have the discussion, open slather, and organize it so that everyone's on the same page in your household. And if you've got kids, like, get them involved in that planning as well. So whenever their school times are, or their exercise time, or, you know, screen time, or whatever it is that you do in your household, get the kids involved in that process as well, so they're not just like, oh, I don't want to do that now. They can see what the plan is, and then it's much easier for them to stick to, because they've got structure and routine as well. So it doesn't need to be perfect to start with. You can just start and do something and evolve it over time. So the first week may not be perfect, right? Or you may learn some things that you want to implement for the next week after that. So make sure that, yeah, you just start, implement something, have a plan, have a structure to follow, and then test and rejig it for the following week. And then I guess, yeah, the other tip around that was having everyone on the same wavelength. So whether that's on like a whiteboard at home, or at a big piece of paper, or put it on the fridge. If you're technologically advanced, then it might be on a shared Google Calendar that everyone can see, and the family stuff's in one color, or something like that. Whatever works for you, but having some sort of weekly plan can help. And then for you personally, good morning, Carly. Carly's on a work break also. Like, once you've got your weekly plan mapped out, then I'd encourage you to personally break that down into your daily plan. So the things that I would suggest you include on there are like what time you're going to wake up, so that we're not kind of sleeping in till 10 a.m. and wasting the day. You've got some sort of rhythm and routine that is more normal. And then I want you to put your exercise in there as well. I want you to put like what your work sort of time clock on and clock off is in there. And we're going to talk about that in a sec. But they're the sorts of things that I want you to put into your daily plan, so that you know when you're meant to be working, when you're not meant to be working, and it all just isn't this big messy day of nothing, and then there's not a lot of structure around that. So you'll get more shit done if you actually map out times in your day that you've got to do things. Like, say you might do emails at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you spend that half an hour doing emails, and then that's it. You're not sort of sitting on email all day procrastinating. You've actually blocked off some time in the morning when you're most productive to do some like solid thinking and actual work. And then you're using your like fading time in the afternoon to do emails. So if you communicate with me, then you'll know that I'm not very good at emails. I rarely check them. I have somebody else that manages my emails for me, because I see emails as someone else's to-do list. And you'll never catch me checking my emails in the morning. I will check them later on in the day when my brain's not working, because they are a complete time hole, right? And you can get lost in them for hours and hours and hours. And like I said, there's somebody else's to-do list. There's somebody writing because they want something to tick off their list. And so it's not like I'm not going to deal with that first thing in the morning when my brain's most active. I've had some productivity juice and I'm ready to like actually do the do. I schedule that in later in the afternoon, and it's certainly not every day. Good morning, all these people. Good morning, Jake Bart. So that's a little bit of insight into why I don't email you back very quickly, because I don't jump in emails very often. All right, so once you've got your weekly plan and even breaking that down to your daily plan, then we need to put some other things in there. So if you're struggling with an exercise sort of rhythm at the moment, then I definitely want you to map that out in your week. So your exercise time is your me time. It's like your self-care. It's looking after yourself. And it's not like you would ever like contact a client or a customer or your boss and say, I don't feel like having a meeting today, like 5 minutes before you're meant to go. Like you have to turn up and you're committed to it. So you kind of need to treat your exercise like that as well. You schedule it in and then you turn up and you commit to doing it, because you're going to feel 100% better for doing it afterwards anyway. But once it's in the diary, it's that protective time for you too. It's there. No one else can bother you. Nobody can drop in a Zoom call at that time, because that's when like you're busy. And yeah, you need to protect that because it's so important. It's going to also help your productivity and mental health at the moment as well. Now, the other strategy that I want you to try and think about putting into your daily plan is what you're going to eat for the day in a way. So like previously when we go to work, we have, you know, work lunch packed, we've got snacks packed, or we know where we're going to buy lunch. We have just some sort of structure and routine around that. Like it's not a complete like free for all or loose. Like we have some sort of rhythm to our weekly work lunch and snacks. So I want you to try and do that now while you're in isolation as well. So I want you to pack a lunch box that's got your snacks in it, your lunch. I shouldn't be drinking bubbly water and these things. I really don't learn. And that's going to help prevent what Ali beautifully termed snackcidents the other day. It's just having some structure around that so that we're not constantly looking in the fridge, procrastinating, or checking out what's in the pantry, or like constantly walking back and forwards to the kitchen because we're bored or we're procrastinating. You've got your work lunch packed for the day. And that's just going to help you make, I guess, a better food choice. And it helps to set up some rhythm and some structure as well. That's a bit more like normal life for us. So like usually if I go to the office for a consulting day, I'll have my food packed with me. It's not like I'm like, oh, what am I going to eat for lunch today? Because I don't have time in between clients to like go out and get anything or even have time to like think about it. It has to be done for me. So I kind of need you to do that in your daily plan as well. Like pack yourself a work lunch, and that's going to help you make better food choices in a day full of a lot of time and uncertainty. Now, leading on from that, good morning, Claire. Leading on from that sort of tip is more broadly, if you're not a menu planner or a meal planner, now's a perfect opportunity to do that. Okay, we've got more time. Everyone's cooking at home more and people looking for healthy recipes and things. So if you're not a meal planner or a menu planner, now is a perfect time to put some structure in around that. Now, I've got the whole Dietitian Approved Recipe database, which has got healthy Dietitian Approved recipes for you, which you can access. It's an annual membership. And also recently I launched a weekly menu planner service to help people with that. So some people just absolutely hate menu planning. And one of my clients said she just sucks at it. So she'd much rather have someone else do it for her. And what better way to do it, have someone else do it for you, than to have a dietitian with like more than 12 years experience do it for you. So it's something that I do in my life and I have for a long time. And I schedule that into the week. So we actually have our menu plan. I do have one here. We've got this sort of structure and template. And I write in that on a Friday. And we plan the meals for the week, the dinners, write out a whole shopping list on a Friday. So that by the time Saturday comes around, like someone goes and gets the meat, the fish, like the butcher sort of food. Someone does the supermarket, and then I generally go to the fresh food markets to get fruit and veggies as well. So we're not having to do that first thing Saturday morning. It's already done. So the market's open early. Somebody gets up early and goes and does that sort of stuff. And then that job is done for the weekend, Saturday morning. So, you know, come Friday, our fridge is pretty bare. And then come Saturday, it's just heaving again, and we kind of work through that food for the week. So it helps us to have a plan so that, you know, when things get busy during the week, we know that the fridge is full of healthy, nutritious food. I've made some snacks, like breakfast has kind of been prepped. And so like in usual life, when we're way more time poor, nobody has to think about it. Like dinner's planned, we know what's on dinner for that night, we know who's cooking. And so there's no arguments around who's cooking that night, or, if somebody's got to work late, then the other person takes one for the team and cooks. So we had that discussion once a week as a family unit to kind of set that week up for success. And that's looking after your future self. So making sure that, you know, like we're looking after our future self. It's not that we're both working late and we get home and there's no food and there's no time to cook, because the meal that night is something that takes an hour to cook. Like that doesn't ever happen. Or there's never a night where there's nothing to eat, because we've done a bit of looking after future self earlier to set our week up for success. Good morning, Bonnie and Owen on Facebook. Sorry, I've just had a look over there and seen who's online. All right, so in terms of food and menu planning, we have more time to do that stuff at the moment. So I'd really encourage you to have a look at something like that. Like have a look at my weekly menu planning service, or do it yourself. If you jump onto my website, you can download this template for free. It is as part of the free recipes. So when you go through, when you click on the recipes page and get access to our free recipes, you get emailed that template. So I definitely encourage you to do that and start thinking about how your meals are going to work for the week. Shopping once a week as well, I would encourage that at the moment. I would encourage that anyway, because there's no point like running back and forth to shops like multiple times in the week because you've forgotten milk or you've run out of muesli or whatever. But also right now we kind of don't want to be spending a lot of time around others and in busy places like the supermarket. So if you get your shit together and get organised and plan it out for the week, then you only have to go once. And so you're lowering your risk by being out only once as well. And I guess the other thing around scheduling, like shopping and cooking and things, is it's going to help you eat to support your health the most at the moment as well. You know, you want to really support your immune system with good nutrition rather than like going in a calorie deficit. We know that puts too much pressure on our immune system. We also want to be making sure we're getting plenty of vitamins and minerals in our life at the moment. And so the best way to do that is to have a bit of a plan and have your fridge stocked with fresh stuff and healthy snacks. So yesterday we made savoury muffins, which was a bit of a disaster camera-wise, but that's okay. Hopefully the replay's not too bad. And that's like a perfect example of something you could make once, then you've got as a healthy snack option for the rest of the week, and you don't have to think about it. So instead of grabbing things like chips and biscuits and stuff that's really nibbly and you're more likely to have snack accidents with, then stock the fridge with healthy homemade snacks that you've got a bit of extra time to organise at the moment. And that's setting yourself up for success. So again, looking after future self. So if you want access to the savoury muffins recipe, I can pop the link in the Facebook live after this is finished, but you just need to go to my.dietitianapproved.com.au/recipes, and there you can download the free recipes little database, and you get the savoury muffins in there, and then you also get emailed a copy of that weekly menu planner. So it's a perfect opportunity to do some of those things. So that might be one strategy that you take from today, is that you start like stocking the fridge or freezer with healthy snacks. Now, if you want to get access to my healthy snack formula, it is all within the Stay Healthy During Isolation course. So as part of there, there's a whole module on snacking to really help you make good snack choices and make sure that you're sort of maximising your nutrition and supporting your immunity the most that you possibly can at the moment. So that's part of that Stay Healthy During Isolation course. And I found, again, too, on structure, a lot of people have really enjoyed the structure of doing an online course. So there's a Stay Healthy During Isolation course where a module drops in every week, and that helps you kind of achieve something each week, is that you've got to tick off those lessons each week. But try and do another online course. There's lots of things that are online. So use this opportunity wisely to upskill yourself in something rather than just trying to complete Netflix. Actually use this time to educate yourself on something, learn something. What did Catherine say? I disagree. I'm not enjoying online uni. That's because you're an extrovert, aren't you? You enjoy like social interaction. A lot of people are doing online courses though, because the structure of having to do something is nicer compared to having like a whole library of Netflix at your disposal. And Catherine, I don't think you're enjoying online uni because you've still got all the pressure of having to do stuff by certain times. So that's maybe just a bit of self-motivation happening. All right, so they're my tips around weekly structure, daily structure, and I encourage you to take at least one thing away from there. Now, the other strategy I want to talk about, what did Catherine say? Yes, stupid neuro assignment today. Yeah, like as a mature age student with kids at home, I think doing uni online right now would 100% suck. So I'm fully with you. I don't know how you're doing it. I'd be really struggling with motivation too. So maybe pulling some of those strategies that we talked about your daily plan, like setting times to study versus not study or do your assignment, might help rather than having a whole day of study and then just spending the whole time procrastinating. So I don't know if that'll help. Good morning, Jess Pike. It's why I drink wine, Catherine said. Yeah, trying to manage uni with kids at home would be hard work. All right, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is the concept of anchors. Now, let me explain what anchors are. It comes from neuro-linguistic programming, but anchors are something that we would previously have in life, like if we have some sort of structure and rhythm to our day. And it helps you to kind of switch on to something and switch off to something. So as an example, like if you're going to work or study, there are multiple anchors in your day that happen to get you from home to work or uni or whatever, wherever you're going. So like as an example, you get up at a certain time, you might exercise, you might eat a certain breakfast, you might catch public transport or you drive somewhere at a certain time to get somewhere to work. Then you might go to your favorite coffee shop on the way and get a coffee, and that's another anchor that's kind of telling you, like setting you up for your day. Then you might get to your desk, you might turn your computer on, you might go and put the kettle on to make a cup of tea or whatever it is. But there's certain sort of anchors that all happen as the day starts to get you into work mode or get you into uni study mode. So at the moment where we don't have all those same anchors that lead us into our work day or our study day, we need to create them ourselves. We need to create those same anchors, because otherwise what's going to happen is that you're not going to sort of switch on for work or switch on for study. And then it's also difficult to switch off sometimes as well. So one of my clients we had this really good discussion the other day around this, not particularly nutrition related, but it all kind of intertwines. So like he has been getting up early and doing some exercise, which is good. But then while the house is quiet, we'll turn on the computer, the work computer, and just sort of like log on, check emails and sort of faff around a little bit, and then have breakfast, and then go and get ready and have a shower, put the work t-shirt on with shorts, because home life, before sort of clocking on for the day. So there's this big grey area of kind of not switching on to start the day. It kind of happens early, but then gets disjointed, and yet that whole morning is grey. And then again in the evening, so that there's no kind of switch off time in the evening, because the work computer and setup is right there. Is kind of going back and doing work after dinner when doesn't really need to, checking emails, just kind of checking in. It's very grey. So what I suggested and what I want some of you to kind of take away is that you need to set up these anchors to start your day. Okay, so the strategy that we talked through is around keeping that, like the home office door closed until it's actual work time, rather than having it open all the time and just checking on things. So having the door closed and having a set start time for work. Now, if you're kind of working on the kitchen table or your desk is in your bedroom or anything like that, then that's obviously really hard to switch on and off. But you also don't want work life invading like personal bedroom life either. So one thing you could try and do is maybe just chuck a sheet over it, or put some sort of accordion up in front of the desk so that if there is a set, like, okay, it's time to start work, take that away. Okay, it's time to stop work, put it back on. So that you are setting up those anchors to like switch on and switch off. Some other strategies for anchors to get you in the zone would be to actually get dressed. So if you're a usual like work clothes, makeup, like shoes type person, and at the moment you're just cruising around in tracky dacks and maybe not doing your hair, then that's probably also not helping you get in the zone. So I'd suggest that you have, even if it's like comfy work attire, like some sort of work pants, like work leggings, you know, or work shirt, like put a bra on. Maybe if you don't want to do a full face of makeup, just put some mascara on something. All those things are anchors to let you know that the work day is coming, to help you sort of switch on and start and get into that zone. Good morning, Elsa, nutritionist. I would also suggest like setting a start time for work, or start time, like Catherine, like set a start time for study, or set blocks of time where you want to study. And if anybody's used the tomato timers, the Pomodoro technique, that could be a really good way to kind of get shit done in blocks. It's a little tomato timer, that's why it's called Pomodoro, and you can set up any time frame, but a typical Pomodoro is 20 minutes work, 10 minutes rest, or 5 minutes rest, can't remember. That doesn't work for me, so I don't set it up that way. I need more than 20 minutes. I tend to do, if I do it, I'll do blocks of 40 minutes and then a 5-minute break. And you have to go through multiple of those cycles before you then have a bit of a longer break. And that can help to actually, because you've got a timer ticking, I don't even have my phone's here. Oh my God. Catherine said, I totally plan my life out. I do 20 minutes study plus 10 minutes break per 30 minutes. Perfect. Hi from Panama. Snap. Good one. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength, Catherine. I'm glad you're here because you're an organizational nut like me. That can help, like having a timer and a countdown, like having time frames helps you stay on task, right? If you've got all day of like study or all day of work with no sort of smaller blocks of time, then you're less likely to be productive and make use out of them. But if you've got, you know, like a looming deadline, we all procrastinate, right? We're all procrastinators, like we're innately procrastinators. So set yourself some boundaries and some timelines so that you can drive that and be self-motivated yourself a little bit. So the Pomodoro, you can easily get just a browser plug-in. There's heaps of apps on your phone. There's lots of free things, like you don't need to pay for it. You could even just set your phone up on a timer cycle. And you're not going to do very well the first time, promise you. It's really hard because it's training your brain to do something differently. So just try it, see how you go. And I would encourage you in your rest period to rest. Okay, don't like go and put a load of washing on or clean the kitchen or something. Like actually take that brain break to rest, and that will help you get more shit done in a day. Catherine said, I also set a task-based to-do list. So like today I have to have research finished by lunch and then intro and methodology done before 3:30, where I'll take the afternoon off. Yeah, perfect. So setting some sort of targets and drivers for you in a world of like uncertainty and no structure is really going to help. So that's a really good one, Catherine. Setting deadlines for yourself when there is potentially no deadlines. I guess from somebody that runs a business, you have to have things done by certain times, but those limits are only set by yourself. So I can push myself as hard as I want or not. And I guess if I didn't set targets and deadlines, then I would probably just do nothing because there's no one driving me to do anything because I don't have a boss. So you kind of have to think of your life like that at the moment, is set some targets and some guidelines for yourself to get shit done. Good morning, those people jumping on. All right, so back to anchors. So try and set yourself up some anchors for your day. Okay, so when you're doing out your weekly plan for what you're going to do each week, and again, work in progress, just start with something and then adapt it and evolve it over time. Put some anchors in there as well. Think about some things that are going to help you get into the zone to start and switch on, and then think about some things that will help you switch off as well. So some of those examples we talked about were shutting the home office door, opening and closing it, setting a set time to start every day. Packing a work lunch is a big one. And like it may be about putting certain sort of work clothes on at the moment, and they may still just be comfy home attire, but instead of sort of slothing about in your pajamas all morning trying to like do emails on your lap on the couch, like actually set yourself up at a desk at a work area and switch on to doing that, rather than kind of just evolving and then you kind of not getting dressed till lunchtime, or only putting a top on for meetings, etc., etc. Just try and set some sort of anchors to help you start your day, and then also some wind down anchors. So it might be taking those work clothes off and putting something more comfortable on. It might be eating a work lunch that's different to what the weekend lunch looks like, so that there is some schedule and some structure to your week, and it's not just all evolving into one. And yeah, is anybody that's on here? Everyone's quite quiet today. I know it's not very nutrition related, but I find that this is helping so many of my clients. So I really wanted to share some of these strategies with you. But if anybody's got any other strategies that they're finding really useful at the moment, please share. Please help each other. Good morning, Dietitian Connection. Hello. All right, we're just winding up, DC. Yeah, so if anybody's got any of those strategies, please pop them in. Anything's going to help anybody at this point. So if there's something in particular that's working for you, then chances are it's going to help somebody else or will resonate with somebody else as well. So please share. That's just my strategies and my tips. And feel free to take one thing out of it. I wouldn't encourage you to try and implement all of it at once. Just pick one thing and then practice it, implement it, let it become a bit more habitual before you layer on the next one. So I hope that's really helped create some sort of structure and routine to your life at the moment in a period of no structure and routine and certainty. I think it'll really help you stay focused and get a bit of motivation if you can just do some of those things. And I guess I'm a big advocate for the structure with nutrition. Like having no plan is just kind of planning to fail. So it's setting yourself up with a menu plan for the week, and you're doing your shop and you're getting all the ingredients that you need, so that you're not kind of wasting time each day thinking about, oh, what do I want for dinner? I don't have half these things. Like, it just wastes time. So look after your future self by getting a weekly menu plan. And so I can do that for you at a small token cost, or I can give you my template for free to use that as well. So you can just start to do that while you've got a bit more time to implement it, and everyone's cooking at home more as well. So Catherine said, I think the biggest thing in ISO life is having schedule, but also being flexible. Yes, I agree with kids, which is mega hard for you. And Elsa said, I play some of my favorite music and dance. Yes. Yep. So that's a really good way to either switch on, like you might have a start work playlist that's like, you know, super motivational and like pump up. I have one of those. It's called Taz Pump Up on Spotify. I think I have a private account, but anyone, I'm happy to share it if anybody wants it. It's probably too much insight into my life for my liking, but that's okay. And then, yeah, having a bit of a wind down playlist at the end of the day as well. That could be a bit more relaxing, or you could totally flip it the other way and have like a gentle acoustic work mix to get you in the zone for work. And then like a crazy party pump up for end of the day as well. The good one, Elsa, thank you for sharing. Catherine said, some days I don't get all my jobs done because of the kids, etc., but it's on my to-do list, and each day I reset before bed what my tasks are the next day. That is a good one, and we didn't actually talk about that. So one key thing that I implemented years ago when I started doing some more work from home is that I have a to-do list. Like we didn't even talk about that at all. But having a to-do list is like life. I love having a to-do list and being able to tick things off. Mine is online, but some people do like having a physical book that is written And like, it's really quite cathartic to sort of actually tick things or write lines through them when you've done them. And there's also some funny memes going around how you, like, it's a to-do list where you write down all the things you've done and then cross them off. But one key strategy with that is that you actually do your to-do list the day before. So rather than kind of getting to your desk and going, all right, shit, what am I going to get done today? You've actually thought about it before, and it might be part of your weekly plan, but you've done your to-do list the night before so that you can sit down at your computer or sit down at your desk or whatever you're doing and switch on, and you know exactly what you're doing for the day, rather than having to waste an hour trying to think about what you're up to and what deadlines you've got and what you should be working on. You've actually looked after your future self again and planned that out the day before. I'd also encourage you, as maybe one of your anchors to switch off for the day, is to clean your desk and make sure that that's super clean and tidy, ready for the next day to start. Rather than having like leftover lunch bowls or cups and shit lying around. Like, actually clean your desk and have a nice clear workspace so that when you do start your day, that you don't have to waste 20 minutes tidying your desk and getting that stuff organized. And that's just another anchor to kind of help the flow of work as you start your day when you're super productive. So spend that last, 10 minutes of where your brain's not working, like after you've just done your emails and all that brainless stuff. Clean your desk, ready for the day, and that can be one of your anchors to sort of switch off for the day as well, so that whole space is clear. So yeah, good one, Catherine. If anybody needs some tips for to-do lists, I use a free program called Asana, which has got a desktop version, and you can share it with multiple people at no cost, and there's an app as well. And I find that really cathartic to tick those things off as complete. And you can adjust dates and timeframes and things, but I find that one as a really good one. But there are heaps of programs like Trello, there's heaps of big project management software like Monday, Teamwork. There's lots and lots and lots, but find one that works for you. Like, you might be a book handwritten person, or you might be an online person, and it's just trying both methods and figuring out which one you like. I've tried a number of project management softwares over the years, and Asana is definitely my favorite because it doesn't cost anything, and it is still like quite functional. But Trello is free as well. I didn't really enjoy using that, but you might enjoy using that. Coach Kath, good morning. Catherine said I use Post-its on my Mac desktop. Yep. Yeah, like on the actual computer, you can put Post-its on the screen, like not physical ones, digital ones. I probably wouldn't encourage actual Post-its because then just stuff goes everywhere and they become unsticky and they go all over the place, and then you end up with Post-its everywhere, and that's not so productive either. All right, good one. So does anybody else have any other strategies they want to share? So good tips by Elsa to have some music as anchors, switch on and switch off. And then Catherine brought up the to-do list, which is a good one. Yeah, she uses the digital Post-its, good one. There's lots and lots of things that you could do. If anybody actually wants to do some reading on getting organised, one of my favourite books on getting organised is a book by Lorraine Murphy called Get Remarkably Organised. I know, right? She's a total like organisational fiend and does a lot of presenting on organisation actually. But if anybody wants some reading over this time, that's quite a good book for organisation. And she has some really good sort of practical strategies. So I read that many years ago and yeah, loved it, obviously, because I'm an organisational nut. But that would be my probably number one book recommendation if you want to do a bit more reading in this space. All right, Elsa, thank you. She said, excellent, good work. All right, so if nobody has any other tips or strategies, I thought this would be over, Catherine, in like 20 to 30 minutes, and we've now been going for 45. Hilarious. We just end up talking, which is good. I hope everyone's going okay out there and surviving ISO land. Please reach out if you need anything. I'm more than happy to help. I know that there's a lot of people that are kind of living alone at the moment. And I don't live alone, and life is busy and I'm struggling. So yeah, please reach out if you need anything. And I guess shameless plug also for my Stay Healthy During Isolation online course. If anybody's looking at doing some upskilling in any of the nutrition foundations, we talk through like the foundations of healthy eating, we talk about healthy snacking, we talk about gut health and immunity, exercise, sleep, alcohol, so many things that are really key to get a handle on at the moment to help support your immune system, and also just to give you some structure in your life. Now's a perfect time to put some of those nutrition foundations in place while you have maybe got a bit more time. And if you need help with recipes, we've got the recipe database. We've also got the weekly menu planning service. So there's a couple of things going on at Dietitian Approved at the moment that could really help if you need help with like recipes, menu planning, and just general nutrition information to help support you now no matter where you are. So I'll link that in here as well, actually. Catherine said you should know better. Yep, I should know. I do block out an hour in my day for this. I could talk about organisational all day. Yep, me too. It gets me super excited to be able to talk through organisation and help people with organisation. I think it's definitely something that some people are really good at and some people really struggle at. But like I said at the beginning and probably the middle, just pick one thing from today and try and implement some sort of structure and routine, and then build on that. So don't try and do everything at once, because that's just going to set yourself up for failing. Just like weight loss, if you try and do all the things at once, you're just going to set yourself up for failure. So one thing at a time, change one habit, and you'll have more success and consistency with that. All right, team, thank you so much for joining. What day is it? Wednesday. Tomorrow we are jumping on live and we're going to talk about how to eat chocolate with a dietitian, which should be fun. So 10:30 again tomorrow. Come online for a bit of chat and ISO banter if you're bored. I'll need some social interaction. And we're going to talk about how to eat chocolate with a dietitian. So I don't think that one will go for an hour, but we'll see. It's locked in for an hour. 10:30 tomorrow. And I'll link a couple of those things in here for you as well. But thanks for joining, team, and good luck. And please let me know, send me a DM, or don't send me an email because I won't respond for days. Send me a DM if you've got any other tips or strategies for structure and routine, or if you've implemented something and had good success with it. So I'm really keen to hear how you're going. All right. See you later. See you tomorrow at 10:30.